Our next speaker here is actually the guy that I call when our agency ads have a bad month. Whenever we just can't get that deal flow that we usually are used to, whenever there's a down month, somehow this guy is always having a good month when it comes to lead costs and acquisition on the agency side. And so I figured it was only appropriate, since all you guys want to be able to get more clients, run ads at a cheaper cost, and be able to get those book call costs down so you can increase the revenue of the agency. I want to introduce Mr. Zach Schubert!
Thank you, everyone. All right, I am looking forward to talking about this. I love talking about lead generation. I love talking about how you can get really cheap appointments for booked calls. Now, this one specifically is going to be designed for agencies. We do ads not only for agencies, but also for info products that are spending at least $30,000 a month on ads. And we build out the funnels, do the creative strategy, and then we also execute on the ads and manage those. So this next slide is actually my CV, but I want to point out more than anything what I have learned and what has happened since I've got into AFA, which is what we're talking about here today. Since AFA, I have actually acquired an agency. As of January 1st. I have also merged with another agency in December of last year. And then for my main agency that I first started, which is an SEO agency, thanks to Manic, is we increased our profit by 200% in the last year. So obviously that's something that is noteworthy of things that we learned throughout the time inside the mastermind of AFA. But aside from that, we have generated also over $140 million a year for our clients through SEO. And then as for leads for others, my team combined, we have spent around $37 million on meta ads. We worked with about 4,000 agencies and then one-on-one with about 50 different agencies. So this is an hour-long talk that I'm going to compress into 20 minutes. So I'm going to make sure that you guys have these slides after. It's basically our SOPs and the process that we go through every time we have a new agency come in and work with us, and how we break down their ads, their offer, and all that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that you guys have everything. So I'm going to go through it as quickly as I possibly can. So the first thing is the funnel. Inside the funnel, we comprise it of offer creation, the funnel structure, the creatives, and the landing page. You can kind of do those in pretty much any order, depending on what needs work or if you need help with what. So the first part we're going to go through is the offer creation, and this is how to create an offer for pretty much any platform. So this can be something that works on organic, this can be something that works on that you're going to be wanting to sell the people on when you're running the ads for them. So the first one that we're going to be talking about is you want to find a one-of-a-kind offer and identify that starving crowd. We really like to use pain. That's one of the biggest things that we use. And I'm going to use my agency, my SEO agency, a lot as a reference to how we find this pain. One of the big things that we always refer to is people getting low ROAS on ads, people working with other SEO agencies, and it taking 3, 6, 9 months for them to get results. And we capitalize on the huge ROI that they can get from doing SEO. We capitalize on how we do SEO faster than anyone else. So those are some starving crowds that we have been able to identify inside of our offer. Now, the second thing is you want to look to see who your competitors are underserving. So there might be a certain group. So for us, for example, when we came into the SEO business, we saw that pretty much anyone that did, at least from my perspective, pretty much anyone that did SEO was kind of serving like local businesses, restaurants. That was just my perspective. And I was like, okay, well, who isn't really being served properly? And we found that the e-com community wasn't being served properly on the SEO side of things. So we decided to dedicate ourselves only to doing SEO for e-com. The third portion of kind of identifying that starving crowd is using your sales calls and feedback from the clients. So this is a huge thing that we use not only to build landing pages, but also to identify our offers and also to see what people are actually wanting. And we can put those things even inside our ad creatives, everything. because you'll hear objections, you'll hear people saying the same things over and over and over again. And if you're able to talk to what those objections are, then you can create offers, you can create landing pages, you can create ads, all addressing those things. And odds are there's more people that have those same objections and that are feeling those same things. The fourth thing is then we position ourselves as the ultimate savior for them. And then the second part of offer creation is then you want to niche down to increase the relevance. So don't use general language. You want to address them specifically. Address specifically who you're talking to. You're not just going to be like, oh, I do SEO. This is what I do. But you're going to address specifically the people that you do it for and identify that and point out that starving crowd that you're actually looking to advertise to or to sell to. Don't use any financially exclusive language. I see a lot of people doing this. They'll say like, hey, if you're an e-com brand that's doing at least 50K per month. Now you do a few things when you name out things like that. First, you're excluding everyone below that you may have some kind of downsell like Spencer has, but you're also excluding a lot of the bigger whales, right? So brands that, do 8, 9 figures that we all want to work with, or companies that are making loads of money, they're gonna see that and they're like, oh, they only work with small fish, so I don't actually qualify to work with them. So we never use any financially exclusive language whenever we're referring to these starving audiences, because we also want the big people to come in and think that we actually only work with them. We'll actually do the opposite. We will use language that's very high, and then the little fish still come in underneath thinking like, oh my gosh, I really want to work with them. So we'll even run ads that say like, hey, we specialize in taking 8-figure brands to 9 figures. And then all the 7-figure brands are like, okay, well, if they work with 8-figure brands, they can obviously get me from 7 to 8 also. And so it'll actually include those people on the bottom rung as well. But you don't want to take that too low. Third thing is test niches to find the winner. Right? So you want to obviously test, see what actually works for you. It's not going to be the first thing. We didn't start with e-com, we started with other things, and then we eventually were able to kind of niche down to that specific thing that we wanted to do. The second part of offer creation is to solve all their problems. So no partial solutions, and we want to bundle a lot of those solutions. This specifically is for ads. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is what you have to do for every single one of your clients, or we've just seen that when you have an ad that bundles solution and when you have an offer that bundles solution, it works a lot better than like, hey, come buy my backlinks. Or, hey, we'll write blogs for you, we'll write content for your website. If you have a landing page and if you have an offer that includes multiple things and multiple solutions all in one, then you'll attract people that are looking for all 3 of those things or all of them at the same time. And then the second one is anticipate objections and solve them in advance with guarantees, case studies, or testimonials. I don't like to use a lot of guarantees, but definitely case studies and testimonials can give those doubts or kind of get rid of those doubts that they have. Now the third part I believe we're on for the offer creation is enhance the perceived value of your offer, so social proof, using scarcity and exclusivity, and then don't ever do discounts. This is actually something that I learned from Eddie. I would run ads all the time for different discounts on our services, on different offers that we had, courses. And one of the things that I discovered is that it actually lowers the perceived value of the service that you're actually doing. And so then people think that you're cheap, people think that you can be negotiated with, and even I've had other clients that when we've run these ads, they come to us and they say, hey, I just saw that 20% offer that you were running. Can I get that too for this month? And then you're just going through this snowball of kind of justifying why you charge the prices that you actually charge. And so we don't do anything whatsoever with discounts. If people want to pay like 6 months up front, sometimes we'll throw in some things for free or different things like that, but we don't ever advertise any of that. This second part, I also learned from Bad Marketing and their crew, and we like to make all of our offers custom to their needs. So when we have clients come through, when we have landing pages, we don't have like 3-tier pricing. It is just custom. So when people are like, oh, what do you charge for SEO? All of our pricing is custom. It's based on your needs. It's based on your competitors. It's based on what actually needs to be done in your business. And based on that, we'll build out a proposal for you that will then address all of those needs for the budget that you have. So that is one of the things that we do as well. We don't package out any of our services. And then for the last thing for offer creation, we enhance the perceived value of our offer. Your service is only as valuable as people think it is. And this is a huge issue that I've seen with people, or sorry, let me rephrase that. This is one of the biggest problems of why people have no-show rates. It's not the email automations that you have. It's not because, I don't know, you didn't send them manual text messages, or you didn't talk to them enough, or you didn't call them before the call. That can be part of it for sure, but it's because they didn't actually like what you were selling them, and they have no interest on wasting their time on getting on a call with you because your offer was not valuable enough. So we want to enhance that perceived value. So we're not going to use fake scarcity or like limited time offers of like, hey, we're not going to advertise that. There might actually be some actual scarcity or exclusivity in your offer. Those things can be communicated with them on calls. And then the second thing is we create a sense of exclusivity that only kind of the elite are privy to, and you're granting them access to this opportunity. So you're kind of able to do that through your landing page, through your VSL, your offer, whatever it is that you're running. And then this next slide is our funnel structure. How am I doing on time? Okay, we got 10 minutes. This next slide is our funnel structure of how we build out every single agency's funnel. So you can take this and copy it. What we do is it goes from creative to landing page, and then after the landing page, there's the call to action, obviously, where they can then click onto our application. In all of our applications, we have financial qualifiers because we want to make sure that the information that we're feeding back to the pixel is only qualified book calls, and I can show you guys how exactly to do that. But what happens is when they're unqualified, they just go to a thank you page, or they can go to a downsell, or they can go to a different calendar if you have, I don't know, a different done-for-you downsell that you have, or if you have a course, whatever it might be, or an email list, whatever it is. And then if they're qualified, then they go to your calendar page and book a call directly. Now, I know a lot of you probably reach out to your leads once they fill out the application. I prefer for it all to be automated, so I just send them directly to the calendar, and that for me has been the easiest and least resisting structure, just so I don't have to rely on humans to actually be able to call someone within 5 minutes of them filling out an application. And then they have a call confirmation page. That call confirmation page down on the right is the key, and it's where we set up our conversion tracking for our ads. So whenever anyone hits that page, that is when it sends the information back to Meta that was a booked qualified call. So back at the beginning, I don't know if I showed the slide properly, let me show it real quick, but our definition of a qualified book call on the bottom right, I'm not there yet, hold on. On the bottom right is a lead that matches our exact ICP, books a call, and then shows up. So for example, my agency only works with e-com brands that make at least $50K per month in revenue. So when I'm guiding people through the funnel and they're answering these questions, if they make $50K, they go to qualified. If they do not, they go to our downsell calendar, where we have a lower price service that we use kind of just to consolidate our ad spend into that. And then for the next thing, so the next thing is creative. So now that we have our funnel structure, now that we know where the application goes, now that we know where the flow that they should go in, now we need to build our creatives for that. So one of the biggest ones that we use that we've seen for agencies work a lot right now, probably 70% of the agencies that we work with, static images are actually the ones that are performing the best, which is kind of interesting because that hasn't always been the case. So one of the things that we do with our static images is we like them to look as native to the platform as we possibly can. The more it looks like an ad, the faster people are going to click away from it. So the more native that you can make it look to a story to what people would be seeing as a post, the better it is. Even some of our best info clients will take videos that have already gone viral for them in Reels, and then we'll just edit the back of the video to have the call to action for the landing page, and it'll look just as if it's an organic video that someone's scrolling through and seeing on their feed. But one of the things that we do with my SEO agency is we do something similar to Spencer, where we take Shopify screenshots and we overlay story text on them. Literally just using the Instagram editor. There's no fancy editing. It looks like it's a story, and then we only advertise in stories. And so we overlay the text on these Shopify screenshots, talking about, you know, all the pain, all the exclusivity of working with us, and the results that we've gotten for our clients. So we don't use any stock images. It has to be aesthetic visuals, minimal text, and then we also use UGC as well, if possible. On the static images, you want one or for the static images, your hook you can use a screenshot. Like I said, we use the Shopify screenshot. You know, you can use a Lambo first class seat if you're advertising travel hacks, or even a busy storefront if you have a physical store. Or your hook can also address or call out the different pain points you want to target. Don't call out businesses like agency owners. Do you want more leads? I'm sure you guys have seen those ads, and none of you have clicked on any of them. So that's because they don't work. Next static, on the static part, is you want to quickly capture attention and solve their problems without wasting their time. So social proof, case studies, proof of desired income, clear CTA with urgency or exclusivity, and then the audience responds well to humor. People come on social media to laugh, and it reduces the CPMs massively by engaging farming and comments. So you can actually even go into your chats when people reply to those and just ask them more questions about them. Like one of my good friends, he had one of the most viewed ads on the internet back in like the drop shipping boom, and he would just go in and ask people to like send videos of their cats, send videos of their dogs, and people would just be talking about the most nonsense in the comments, and it had nothing to do with what the ad was actually about, but they were farming the comments in there, and the reach became much, much higher. As for videos, this is kind of the structure that we use for our creative videos. I'm not going to go through it too much. You can take a picture of that and then use it for your own video ads. And then the next one is, well, this is our landing page flow. So this is the process that we take all of that information that we got from watching sales calls, all of that information that we got from building out our offer, then we go into this landing page flow, and that is how we build it out. So the top would be either a VSL, or for a lot of the agencies, we don't like to use VSLs. We just like to use headers. That's my personal philosophy. I don't think that people that are business owners, that are high-level business owners, are wanting to learn how you do it. They just want to see you do it properly, see the results that you have done for other people, and then they want you to do it for them. So I don't generally recommend doing VSLs for agencies, just because we haven't seen a huge watch rate of the whole VSL, and it generally lowers the quality of the people that actually go through the whole thing, because someone that's making 8 figures a year or 7 figures a month, they're not going to sit down and watch your 15-minute video on how you increase their meta ad conversion rate. They just really don't care. They just want you to do it for them. Few more minutes. This is just the ad setup novelties. So this is how we set up the conversion rate. This stuff is more just exact breakdown. It's not necessarily theory. It's just exactly how we break down all of our ads. I'll have the slides up there after too, so that you guys can take them and execute on them. But it's the conversion rate setup, the campaign setup, and then the audiences that we generally target for agencies. So for the conversion rate setup, it is a step-by-step. I'm not going to go through it. You guys can just take pictures of it. But the process that we go through, that's literally the buttons you click, where you go, and how you set it up. But as I mentioned, where we have the conversion set up is when they land on that thank you page, once they've booked the call, and once they're a qualified prospect. And then that's the information that we send back to the pixel for it to trigger as something actually executed. We don't care about leads. We don't care how many people filled out the application. So we're not sending that information back to Facebook. We're only sending back the information of when it's actually a qualified booked call, because that's what we want to encourage the pixel to go out and find. We want them to find high-level people that are going to book a call with you and make it through the entire process. If we're just looking for leads, your quality of lead will be lower. It's just then Facebook's literally finding people that are willing to fill out your form. And we don't want people that are willing to fill out our form. We want qualified booked calls. So that's exactly the process that we do to be able to set that conversion rate up and then put it inside the ad. Same thing with the campaign setup. I'll just pop that on the screen just so that you can have it of how we set up our campaigns. And then the conversion event is that event that you had created above. And then some of the more important things that you can copy are some of the audiences. So for location, we tested every single first world country in the world, and these are the countries that we found to be the most profitable for getting leads. So we've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on pretty much every country, and these are the ones that we found that get the cheapest leads and the highest quality leads. So those are the ones that we use. If you can't serve all these countries, that's fine. But if you can, it's a fantastic source to go to, because a lot of these countries aren't advertised to, which makes the leads even cheaper. And then this is our audience as well. We only do 25 to 55. The reason we do that is because we literally went back and looked at our client profile and who churned the most often, how quickly they churned, the clients that were the most headache, and the LTV, and we literally broke down our best clients to be between the age, I think it's actually even 50, between like 25 and 50. So we just don't bother advertising to those other age groups because we don't want to attract the wrong person. So why would we waste our ad spend on that type of person? And then those are some of the audiences and interests that we target. A lot of those I've copied from my good friend Marius over here. But the goal is eventually to make sure that your pixel is honed in enough so that it can just be broad, right? Because that's where you're going to get your cheapest leads. That is where you're going to get the highest quality leads. But those are things that you can do in order to make sure that you're directing your pixel into the right direction. And then eventually you'll be able to turn ads to broad. So on the next slide are the notes. You can download those notes. It's just a Google Doc. There's nothing that you have to, no emails, nothing like that. But that is exactly the process that we go through for every single agency that we work with that comes through, how we go through their offer, how we go through their funnel structure, how we set it up, how we build it out, and then the exact structure of their ad account when we're testing, bringing in new creatives, removing more creatives, and anything like that. I will find a new link. I'll post it in the Telegram. Sorry about that. Alrighty, that is it.